Yeah, obviously we just caught the end of it, just as I made the contact. It was a bit hard to see, but either way, this gone badly wrong for both of those guys. And of course, CJB, very dangerous reverse onto the racing line, which luckily didn't take anyone else out. These are the kind of things that can happen, of course, in these reverse grid races. Suddenly, Jadier just gets caught up in something that he cannot avoid, and that can have a massive impact on the championship. But now we're watching Dalking going down the inside of ADAs there. Towards Arouge, luckily for them, they've sorted themselves out before Arouge, and like those two cars ahead who just about does it as well. The red Lamborghini of Bo, no, that is that Kamisuke? No, I have no idea who that is. Nagram, I think, actually, and Kamisuke going side by side. Yeah, and behind them, Bo and Dalking now going side by side as well. That's looking at the 4 wide, nearly. Oh, Dalking actually squeezed through the middle of all of them. Dalking scored past 3 cars on one straight.
What a move by Dalking! My goodness, he must have just come. I mean, you talk about lick the stamp and send it. Good God, that was very brave. Oh no, that's trouble. That is Kamisuke that's in trouble. He's had issues. Oh, that's right in the middle of the track. But of course, if he moves, that makes he could potentially go into someone's way, and he's managed to recover that one. Goodness me, that could have been. That could have been far worse, but he's managed to get back underway. But that is not a happy Lamborghini. We've seen quite a few incidents, but that's the nature of reversing racing, and that's Tudor side by side with out for the race lead, and Lucy looking to get involved in that particular battle as well. As they are now, that is that's Campus that are now coming through, heading down towards Stavolo. The Porsche just managing to hang on, but the Audi now is going to have the inside for the next 2 right-handers at Stavolo and at Paul Frey, and that is job done. That is Tudor's in the lead. Great move then, great racing side by side for these two, but of course they've got a big pack of cars coming up behind them.
Yeah, they got to run away now. There's no time for this battling. But Despac clearly wanting to lead this race early on, and he's doing a good job off it, but he's given the slipstream and the run off the corner back to Zal, who wants to lead straight back on the outside of Blanche, but will he stay on track? Not quite. It's a little bit naughty. I think the game might have a word with him about that. He's slowing down. He's sort of braked a bit earlier than to Despac went into the corner, which means Despac's going to hang on to the lead of the race. Zal trying to get a good exit, but he was a bit squirrely through the exit of the bus, but not as good as Tudesipak, far onto the straight, has nearly lost the car, seemingly, as Zal is trying to squeeze through him inside, coming into turn 1, but there was no space at all for him there, so Zal slotting in behind, and Dalking now looking to join the party already, having started quite far down. He was, of course, 3rd from last at the start of this race, already up to 4th place. Meanwhile, Leon down in 8th, and Jadier still down in 13th position. So Dalking in prime position to win the race, but he has to go 3 cars ahead of him. Last lap, he passed 3 cars on this straight. Let's see if he can do it again.
There's Lusty. He's got the BMW with the Porsche. He's going to get a slipstream off the Audi. He just jumps ahead of the Lamborghini. Now the Lamborghini's having a look. He's trying to repeat his move, and he very wisely backs out of that. Tudors and Zal yet again side by side coming through their calm. The Porsche this time wins out. Zal back in the lead of the race. Dalking this time pushing the Audi along, and that's a big old snap of oversteer from the Lamborghini, and that's a big old move on the inside of Bruxelles, and there's impact between Dalking and Tudors, well held by the red and black Audi of Tudors pack. Then heading down towards No Name, down towards Pouon. Dalking is really showing his worth. Is he going to have a look on the inside of Pouon? That is exceedingly brave. If he is going to try and move, there he is. Oh, wow, that is very brave for the pair of them. Who's going to win out? Does the Audi have the pace to hang on then for the inside of the next corner? Still side by side. We saw Tudors and Zal doing this only a few laps ago. The Lamborghini's nose ahead with a tiny touch, and again, both of them save it. There goes a road bollard. Bo has now joined the back of this particular pack. Wow, brilliant move once again by Dalking.
Brilliant stuff, and Dalking up to 2nd place now. You just say, was there someone who hit the bollard back there? Because apparently hitting these bollards can be lethal for the cars. Getting damage, apparently. One of the drivers said that if you hit one of the bollards, you are guaranteed at least 10% from the air damage.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't know if it was exaggerating, but it certainly seems like bollards is something you don't want to hit if you can avoid it.
Wow.
So whoever had some touch with that might be struggling a little bit, as Nagar now under pressure coming into the bus stop from Leon, the sick one. He was briefly down to 10th place earlier on in this in his lap, actually, after being 8th before, but now he's up to 7th all of a sudden, making that move on Nagar through the bus stop. Nice clean move for Leon there. But of course, he needs to push on as well now. With Dalking being this far up in the race, if Leon wants to win, he needs to follow through, because Dalking has been right on the pace of Leon and Jardier so far this season, but he's not yet had a win actually, having had quite a few mistakes, a few incidents along the way as well. Maybe this is the one for Dalking with this advantage now. Maybe taking the lead at the end of this straight. Let's see as he comes down the slipstream, pulling to. No! Oh my goodness! He's actually hit the back. As I don't think he was sure which way Zal was going to go there, but in the end he managed to grab the inside line for Lecomte, braking nicely, hitting the apex, and that is the lead for Dalking from third to last at the start of this race. He's now leading after a lap, on lap 6, with Zal dropping down to second place. So he just now needs to get his head down, get the laps in, and try and get as big of an advantage as he possibly can before Leon potentially gets through into second place and starts charging after him.
Look at that, 5 different cars in the top 5 positions. Leader, Lamborghini, second, Porsche, third, Audi, fourth, Mercedes, and fifth, BMW. Then you've got another pair of Lambos behind. That is Leon and Aid the Ace. You have a pack of Lambos there, actually. Aid the Ace, Leon. There's Suomi. That is being chased by Nagram, T-Mac, and Jardier. Jardier is pretty much just minded his own business and wait for everyone else to fall off. He's up to 11th, but then he doesn't have to push very hard. He's got that points advantage. He could pretty much park and not worry about it for the rest of the championship, because of course he won't do that. That is not the nature of anyone in the top tier, but he's not under any immediate pressure to do well. He doesn't have to do anything risky, and of course if he really tries to throw it up the inside and make an unreasonable move, he risks just kind of burying it in the sand. So Jardier can just kind of keep the pressure on and wait for the mistakes to happen. But look at the lead that Dalking's got for himself already. It's already over second, and that's Bo on the back of 2 Desert Pack. Is the Mercedes going to try and move on the Audi into the bus stop? Let's have a look. No, he opts for the safer move, but Dalking is on an absolute charge. We've got 3 people with penalties on the board so far. I think all of them are track limit penalties. Let's have a quick look. Aid with 2, Kamazuki with 1, and CJB with 3. So yeah, people are struggling a little bit with keeping the cars on the straight and narrow, but we'd see some very, very slippery cars. Aid the Ace now again side by side with Leon, but the bright green Lambo has gone up to 6th position now. He's got Lusty already ahead, who is on the back of the Mercedes. So Bo trying to get after 2 Desert Pack. Let's put Lusty on his case now, coming through. O'Roos over Radion, keep it nice. It's so easy to throw it off into the barrier, just one wrong move and you are in for a world of hurt. And the Mercedes feeling the need to defend. They are gaining on the Audi. This could be interesting coming into Lecomte. Who's going to blink first? Side by side again, the Mercedes and the BMW. Lusty's still in there. Well driven by the pair of them, no impact, but the Mercedes hangs on to 5th. And there is Leon, ready to do battle again. Everyone rally crossing through the last part of Lecomte. And the Mercedes looking to try and get on the inside of both, this time of Bruxelles. Now Leon's getting involved. Let's get on board with the Lamborghini. Oh, and he had to be very careful. He didn't pile into the back of the M6, but carries on. No damage as yet, but wow, that is amazing driving by all of them.
Yeah, fantastic battling. We're seeing some really good action here in the first few laps, and these guys are keeping it clean at the moment, which is good to see. Leon, he is staying patient for the time being, but he's probably not too patient, as he knows. You think that Dalking's gotten into the lead of the race. Oh, and that is the defensive move from Lusty on the inside, going into the chicane. So Leon has nowhere to go really, he just has to stay behind. He'll probably try and line up a good exit out of that corner coming up here and get a run through the fast right-hander. Potentially be side by side through Blanchimon. We've seen a few moves through there already in this race. Let's see if he can get the run coming up the hill on a pretty narrow part of the track, but it will be an overtaking opportunity. Potentially on the braking into bus stop if he can't quite get alongside here, which it doesn't seem like he will. Nice Lusty going well off the circuit. Leon was even slightly off as well, and actually Leon's lost more time. That is early braking though for Lusty, so Leon's going to close in towards the bus stop, and the camera is not really helping to see what's going on, but we can see Desert Pack getting through the bus stop safely, and it's a pretty big tray now actually from Zal and down. There's only 4 seconds from Zal up to Dalking.
Wow.
After he made a move a couple of laps ago. So Leon has a lot of work to do ahead of him. Still 4 cars sitting right there that he needs to get through before he can start thinking about even
Yeah,
trying to get after Dalking.
that train goes all the way back to T-Mac in 10th. Look at them all streaming up Eau Rouge. That is an amazing sight. Directly ahead of us is the Lemon Lamborghini of Jardier. And
T-Mac was there losing it through.
wow. I mean, that's a pretty flat-out section anyway. You've just got to navigate it properly, but to add difficulty, do it sideways. Wow, that's a brave move from T-Mac. But Jardier is just very much minding his own business, unless, of course, he has sustained damage that we don't know about, but he's keeping decent pace. He's actually quicker last time around than everybody ahead of him, with the exception of Dalking. But Dalking maximising his opportunity to get off into the distance, and that's Lusty and Bo side by side. Oh, come on, camera, keep up for God's sake. Whoa, that was very brave from the BMW, and Bo is under pressure from Leon, but Leon just backs out of that, remains in 6th position. The Lambo then trying to do something about the Mercedes ahead, and Aid is now right there as well, but he's bringing Suomi and Jardier with him. Goodness me, it's impossible to know where to look.
It certainly is, and
whoa!
Sideways for Leon as he comes out of Puan, but he's actually got to run if he can nail the brake.
Oh!
So a little bit of door banging even to give ADAs an opportunity to get back at him, but that is not going to work. But Leon, yeah, certainly, Bo is defending well, and Leon is having a much harder time than he certainly would have liked to get through this train. We're just stuck in the middle of it at the moment, and you can see Jardier now, having got up to 9th place, is in a similar situation. A couple more cars for him to pass with ADAs. Under pressure from Suomi, closing slightly, coming towards Blanchimont. He's not going to be a side-by-side through here on this occasion. Potentially a move on the brakes into the bus stop. That is Suomi getting very close. Jardier slightly off the track as well. Back in out of it though, to not get advantage from having done that. Braking nice and early just to be safe.
Oh!
Only goes for the inside, very deep on the, and that is actually Leon making the moves well ahead of them. So the bus stop being used for overtaking. That is Bodo getting back at Leon. He will have the inside line. The Mercedes having good straight line speed as well, coming down the main straight. Will Leon be brave enough on the brakes? It looks like he's trying to get around the outside, and that will be. Will they be moved on? Let's see. They're still side by side, and that is finally Leon ahead of the Mercedes. A bit of a great fight, and look at Jardier still stuck behind the battle of ADAs now. It's the swap position. Suomi now ahead going up Eau Rouge, but that might not be the best place for him to be, because ADAs will get a good run unless he actually had a pretty loose car going up the hill there, and that will instead give Jardier the chance to move up to P8.
And that's Leon and Bo swapping position again. The Mercedes nosing ahead of the Lamborghini. He's going to have the outside coming through. They come, but oh, he can get the move done. Very nicely done. I didn't think it was alongside, but the Lamborghini keeping itself very much in contention. Leon has not had it his own way, as you can quite clearly see. Zal and 2 Desert Pack further down the road are actually in a battle, but at the moment I'm keeping an eye on this. What a big move from Leon! Dives on the inside of Bruxelles. Wow, he had a lot of confidence that he could get the car turned in, but also that Bo wouldn't turn in on him. That was a great move, and straight away Suomi now is keeping the pressure on the Mercedes. You've got Jardier that is right under the rear wing of ADAs, directly behind them, and T-Mac is not far off the back of them either. T-Mac now, well, again, T-Mac's got a great view for everybody, and wow, Suomi's Lambo getting very sideways again. So much drifting action going on today, which I really didn't expect for Spa, but there we go. I'm not a GT3 racer, so that may be more expected than it should be. Further up the field, these two still in battle, as Zal, the Porsche, ahead of 2 Desert Pack. They've been fighting all race long. 4.5 seconds is Dalking's lead. Then you've got this group of cars. You've got Lusty in the M6 just behind. Then Leon is now finally ahead of the Mercedes in that pack of cars that we've been looking at. Suomi on the back of Bo. He could have a think about it on the inside heading into the bus stop. There you see ADA, Jardier and T-Mac lining up behind them. Who's going to be brave on the brakes? No one at the moment. Everybody kind of minding their own business and keeping the cars good and true. But this battle has got a lot of legs left on it yet.
Indeed. Jardier is still stuck in P9, just watching on as these guys are battling ahead of him. But that is Bo now under pressure from Suomi, having finally lost that battle against Leon. He's now going to focus on Suomi, ABS and Jardier all coming up behind in their Lamborghinis. Going up through Eau Rouge. Oh yeah, sliding again for these guys. I think there's some very loose setups going on, some low downforce on these cars, as you would expect really for Spa with these long straights. and that is probably part of the reason why we're seeing a lot of sliding around. And now going into the braking zone for Lecombe. Bo's on the inside.
Oh, Jardier!
That is later on. Jardier's dived up on the ace. A bit of a surprise move there, potentially. And that is 8th place for the championship leader. And he's going to go straight in the attack. And Bo, actually, Leon spent laps getting through this Mercedes. Jardir's gone straight up the inside, where at the same place where Leon finally managed to make his move stick. Bo's trying to hang on in there, but Jardier has got too good of a drive out of the corner, and that is the move done for Jardier much quicker than what Leon managed on the Mercedes, which is going to be very good for him, as he only now got one car in Suomi between himself and his championship rival.
Speaking of, there is Leon, and that pack's beginning to condense again. That's Zal, Tudesback, Lusty and Leon. So Porsche, Audi, BMW and Lamborghini looking to resume their particular fight. Then Leon, of course, looking to continue to climb up the order. 5 seconds is now Dalking's lead out there in the Lamborghini. There is the other pink and white one off Suomi. He's got Jardier all over his tail. It is never a comfortable position for anybody, to be fair, with Jardier bearing down on you. Again, looking from T-Mac's car in 10th position. That's how that particular pack has spread out there. So Bo now in 8th position behind Jardier. Jardier looking to keep the pressure on Suomi now. And again, just like he's been doing all race long, he's just kind of keeping the pressure. He's not making any particular moves, unlike Leon and Suomi. No, Lusty, I beg your pardon. They were side by side coming through the bus stop then. The green Lamborghini looking to get on with the job. Is he going to have a look on the inside of La Source? He's lined himself up for it. Oh, he couldn't get committed though.
Close.
Very, very close indeed, as Benazili brings his car into the pits. Quite a few people towards the tail of the field have either chosen to or have been forced through the pits, so has obviously broken up the tail of the field. But Leon then is not wanting to lose any time behind the BMW. He's going to have a great run off the exit of Eau Rouge of the BMW. Yeah, he's backed out of that. Oh, wow. Suddenly jumps back on track. Jardier is now ahead of Suomi. Yes. He's going to pick up... Yeah,
down slowly for...
that's going to hurt, because that's a big queue of cars. Look at that. There goes Jardier. There goes Suomi. Manages to jump back ahead of Bo. Oh, no, Bo's going to go alongside him into Lecombe once again, side by side. This time the BMW on the Mercedes, and that's surely it's going to be job done for Bo. He's going to have the next two right unders. Lusty's not letting that one go. There's AD8 and T-Mac getting involved as well. Who's going to be last of the late breakers? Lusty's hanging on in there. Can he hang on for the inside of No Name? He's still there. That's great effort then from the M6. And still Bo is nose ahead just about. And then AD8's getting involved in that particular battle as well. Oh, he had to back out of it. He got boxed in between the Mercedes and the BMW. Has to slot right behind them. Oh, that was a big old slide. That was, I think, more than AD8 was anticipating there. But great effort then from Bo to fend off the Mercedes. And there's T-Mac looking to do something on the back of AD8 as well, coming into campus, but has got to remain where he is. Oh, Zal's just given himself a penalty. He's now got his name on the penalty board. What's that for Zal? A single second for the Porsche. But Suomi, Jardier and Leon are in short succession as well. That is not what Leon wanted to see. He wanted to try and get further up the field before the Lemon Lambo got on his tail. And we've lost CJB. CJB has retired from the race. A great shame. But he, of course, had that huge incident at quite a number of laps ago at the No Name corner.
Yeah, shame for him. And now we are following still Leon's progress up through this train. His next potential victim will be Tudesback, who's trying to defend his podium position as he stands on the inside of turn 1. They're going to get very close. Leon just leaving exactly the amount of room he needs for that Audi to fit through, and he's gotten a good drive as well, so that is moved on, unless actually Tudesback can copy what Bo did a few laps ago. He beat past him after Eau Rouge. Needs to get a good run though, and then not get too squirrely through the corner. So we're now following, trying to just hang on to the back of Jardier, who is now up to 5th position. And you can see Tudesback trying to grab as much slipstream as possible on Leon, but Lamborghini is going to be far enough ahead to stay in P3. So that is the second place man in the championship, up to 3rd in the race already. the championship leader, up to 5th. We're now watching Lustius drop down to 10th after that slowdown incident he had at the top of Arouche at the back of the battle between ADAs. I feel like he has been in 8th place for absolute ages now. As much as has been going on around him, but ADAs just consistently staying in 8th place, it seems. And now has T-Mac for company in one of the other Lamborghinis. So it's still a few battles to sort out, but you can see that this field is just slightly starting to spread out in a few places. Certainly not Johnny, who is pressuring to Pack, wants to follow the championship rival through as quickly as possible, but this is not really a normal overtaking opportunity. Because Johnny trying to get a cutback line through every single corner, and that is Pack defending. Johnny still taking the defensive line, even though he's actually on the offense. Back again through the right-handed defending. So Jada needs to get the run going down the straight. Hopefully for him he's got a little bit less downforce in his setup, and he's got a little bit of slip jump as well to help him out. He's got his nose now alongside the Audi going down the straight. He's way faster. Stuomi flying in from the back of him as well. A little bit of lag there potentially as Pack just bangs into the side of him, forcing Stuomi to slow down completely from that. It's too scary going side through Blanchimont with that kind of lag going on. And I think there's a little bit of, I have to apologize, I think my internet is having a slight temperamental leaning because I'm seeing the cars sort of jumping around slightly.
Oh dear.
So I have to apologize for that, but see now Lusty going into the pits. I don't know for you, did Lusty have a lot of damage? Because for me he does, but I feel like that also might be lag.
I fear so on your side, because he's absolutely clean my side. Suomi and Tudez side by side as well. The Audi valiantly trying to keep Jardier behind him, but to no avail as the championship leader has flown through. Here comes Leon on the back of the Porsche. Zal has got no answer for that at all. The camel straight just too long, the slipstream too great. And through into second then is the bright green Lamborghini, and Suomi trying an outside move onto the Audi of Tudez Pack. Goes up into 5th place. That's 2 positions in about half a dozen corners then for Tudez. But that is the nature of the beast, unfortunately. When you are in the reverse grid situation, you will of course have fast cars behind you. So Tudez, again, to be fair, all of our drivers in this tier are amazing at what they do, but there's different levels. It's like there's different levels of equal. There's some more equal than others. But Jardier again, not wasting any time. He may not have forced the move, but he's not losing any opportunity to get on to his next victim. And that is Zal in the Porsche. Is he going to dive on the inside of the campus? Zal let that one go. Zal backed out of that. He didn't fancy going side by side with Jardier into campus. And again, much as I was saying before, he knows that Jardier is the quicker driver. Hence how Jardier is leading the championship. And didn't fancy costing both of them time. So just let the Lamborghini. Whoa, well held, Zal. As he's again drifting his car through every corner he can find. Nicely done, but they continue on their merry way. But Zal is going to lose the back of Jardier, but it's going to be interesting to see how Leon, who has taken a win off of Jardier at, where was it? Sakito, I believe.
He's actually had 3 wins this season as Leon, so he's been very impressive. He won the previous race last week, which I didn't see, but he also won round 3 and 4. So Leon has actually had a really good run this season, but that one DNF from back in round 1 is really hurting him in terms of the championship at the moment. That is the main reason. It's 43 points between himself and Jardier. As Shooter is coming into the pit lane. So, Tsunami.
That's a Source. That's a Source. Of course, he was
very temperamental reversing there as well, but it's worked out because there's no other cars around.
I mean, he picked the only time he could have done it. A big gap in between Nagram and essentially Shooter, but Shooter's in the pits, so it will be Lusty. So yeah, just I saw the positions changing around. Actually, I was actually aiming for ADAs, who's alongside T-Mac, and ADAs goes up into 7th now after drafting down the Camel Straight. Nicely done. Excuse me. Jardier and Leon are still pretty close. Will they be able to reel in Dalking? So we're on lap 14 to 39 now. Of course, the first lap was our parade laps, so 38 racing laps. So we're not at halfway stage. They've got essentially 9 and a bit seconds to close down to get to Dalking. Is it going to be doable, or has Dalking built up enough to be able to hang on for the win? That is going to be the real story of the race. The top 3 then all in Lamborghinis. Zal 4 in the Porsche, our poleman. Then Tudez is in 5th now, and Bo has fallen behind him. In the Mercedes then is ADAce and T-Max still in their particular battle, as they have been pretty much all race long. Magrum, we haven't seen him for a while. There he is in the black and red Lamborghini with Suomi, the teammate to our race leader, currently rounding out the top 10.
Indeed. Just to address Jurassic Emo in the chat. The reason the audio is slightly laggy is probably related to the internet not having the best of days at the moment. It's also causing the cars to jump around a little bit more than what I think they actually are. But we are now watching Jadier at the back of his championship rival. So this is the teammates, of course, Leon and Jadier, even though they're not running the same livery, both running for Actual Vision Unity Racing. In the sister teams, Jadier's teammate Sven Owen is in the chat, I believe. He's not currently racing today because he's in Kuwait, of all places, doing some work. So we hope you at least are enjoying the time there and the race at the moment from the sidelines. And hopefully you'll be back next week. But let's see now if Jadier can make the move. This would be just crucial for him to just extend his championship advantage even more coming into the last 2 races. I don't think it's not really too much pressure on him to do it. But Jadier, of course, is a racer. He wants every position he can get. He's not going to be happy just sitting behind Leon for the rest of this race. He wants to challenge Leon and Leon defending well at the moment. Not taking the inside line there until right at the end before the braking zone. And Jadier's just trying to squeeze through at every opportunity. But Leon is taking the right lines for the time being to make sure that is not going to happen, as Gamisuke is down in 19.
He's had a problem. He's suddenly lost 2 positions, and oh dear.
Is flopping around a bit.
Well, that'll do it. He's had an argument with something fairly solid. And our cameraman's lost. Oh my goodness, that's close. Look at that. Just Leon doing everything he can to defend from that.
Oh, it's going to squeeze from the outside. I think it's going to have the inside. There's actually a little bit of contact, I think, between the 2 of them as they're brushing those coming out of the chicane. And Leon hanging on in there. Fantastic racing. Jadier still going for the outside move, but he can't quite make it stick for the time being. Man, this battling though is not going to help them in terms of catching Dalking, who's now got a 10-second advantage, but it's certainly great entertainment for us. And Jadier now on the outside is going to be coming into Blanchimont. Are they going to dare go side by side through here? Let's see. Jadier is backing out of it. He's backing out of it. He's like taking way too much speed and nearly onto the grass, and it's actually slowed down a little bit. Keeping the inside though for the bus stop, and this battle, I feel like it's going to be lasting for a while if Leon keeps defending like he is at the moment.
Absolutely. Fastest lap of the race last time around was Jadier, that 2:18.1. I doubt he's going to do this. No, of course, in the 2:20s because of their battling. He's not going to do an outside around La Source. Can he get it done? Can he get the drive he needs? No, Leon is able to fend off. They're still side by side though. Here we go again. Yeah, they're going to be flat out side by side through Rouge and Radion. Here we go. Oh, and Jadier, I mean, one of them had to, and Jadier being on the inside was probably better that he did. But now, of course, that puts Jadier straight into the slipstream of Leon, and Leon knows that. He's got no way, and Gamasuki's retired his car after that incident he was in. And there goes Jadier. He's going to jump to the outside of Lecom. Will Leon be able to defend from the Lemon Lamborghini? No, he doesn't. Oh! That was not a good run through Lecom for Jadier though, so he's going to be vulnerable to an attack from Leon now. That's how close it is. Has a think about it on the inside of Bruxelles, but no such luck. Again, getting the tail out, nice and controlling the drift now into No Name Corner. But will Jadier just run off into the distance, or can the green Lamborghini of Leon hang on and challenge him into the next heavy braking zone? It's going to be around Campus. Now into Pouon. It does look like the Lemon Lamborghini's got the legs on Leon at the moment, but it's still a long way to go.
Yeah, looks like Jadia's got the advantage, and that was unbelievable the way he outbraked Leon into Lacombe just so much later, right around the outside, and he nearly ran off the track, I think, got into the second part of Lacombe because he had to slow down so much, which nearly caused Leon to run into the back of him. But luckily, there was no contact as Leon was able to slam on the brakes. But of course avoided him or prevented him as well from being able to challenge Jadia back. So Jadia now got a few car lengths on his rival, and let's see now if he has got, well, if Leon has got what it takes to hang on to the back of Jadia and potentially challenge him back, or if Jadia's now just going to run away and try and close that gap on Dalking. Jadia's actually going wide slide there at the bus stop, which could give Leon a chance as he's got a better run coming onto the main straight. Not too close unless he wants to go for a bit of a dive bomb here into the first corner. Sees the teammates, of course, you wouldn't expect him to be that aggressive, and Leon does indeed back out of it. Could get a good run though, up Eau Rouge. He's still close enough to get slipstream. The Jadia is not quite out of trouble just yet.
Into Eau Rouge they come, through Radion, up over the hill. Who can keep their car settled? Pretty decent run for both of them, of course. Now Leon's going to have the slipstream. Can he gain quick enough though on Jadia ahead? Jadia doesn't feel the need to defend the inside line, and he's not really going to gain unless he has an almighty dive into Lacombe, which he doesn't. That battle has got some legs on it yet, I suspect. Zal is on the back of a 4-car train. That's 2 Desert Pack that leads Bo and T-Mac. They are squirreling away, trying to sort themselves out, coming into Lacombe again. There's Bo trying to get a move on the Audi. The Audi's having none of that. 2 Desert Pack hanging on for everything he's got into 4th position. With, come on cameraman, keep up with us. There we go, and right behind there is, that's ADA's and Nagram. So once again, ADA seems to be in his, in that 8th position he keeps finding himself in. Oh, that's T-Mac didn't have a good run through Bruxelles. Zal right with him. So there is fighting still to be had throughout the pack. Of course, we've concentrated mainly on Jadia and Leon. Jadia looks like he's gone ahead of Leon and just gone. That's about 6/10 between them. Dalkin didn't have a good lap last time around. It's like 8.5. Bear in mind that gap was over 10 seconds when Jadia and Leon were fighting, and that's already 1.5 seconds gone. And Jadia has clocked up the fastest in Sector 2. So he has got his foot down. He wants to chase after that victory.
Certainly does. And Zal's actually on the back foot at the moment. He's down to 7th, as he said, and he was in 4th just a lap or 2 ago. So he's dropped straight through. These guys that are currently battling in 4th, 5th, and 6th. And Zal now under pressure from 8 at the 8th. So finally, maybe will not be in 8th place. He can make an overtake. Let's see. Zal is certainly starting to struggle in that Porsche. I believe the lone Porsche on the grid. And the Ace is not going to go for the over-ambitious move just yet. Nagram being able to close back in as the Ace is backing out of it into the bus stop. The Porsche seemed way faster through the low-speed corner compared to the Lamborghini's following. But maybe it's on the straight that he's struggling a little bit. Let's see as they come out at turn 1. About getting that run out towards Eau Rouge and then keeping the momentum up as much as possible. Going up the hill through that very tricky Eau Rouge and Radion complex, of course, which is way harder in these type of cars compared to say F1 cars, where it can easily go flat. Here you at least have a bit of a challenge to keep it
oh, that's T-Mac in trouble.
Possible. And T-Mac's in trouble. Yeah, he must have had a slowdown penalty. Must have been off the track by quite a margin at the top of Eau Rouge, like we saw one of their drivers do earlier in the race as well. So it's dropped him for 3 positions as ABA is struggling with the grip through the comp. Nagram trying to take advantage, but not quite able to do it. And now, of course, T-Mac has to get through all of these guys, having dropped those positions, going down straight.
Fastest lap for Jadier last time around, 2:18.0. He gained 1.2 on Dalking in that last lap alone. So he's opened up. That's the gap now between Leon and Jadier. Around about 1.2, 1.3 seconds between the green and the lemon Lamborghini. Villalobos in the pits again. So his race is still unravelling in the Z4. Great shame. Oh, that's T-Mac and Nagram side by side through Pouhon. That's brave. Are they going to be side by side through campus? No, T-Mac backs out of that one. Nagram comes back up into 8th position. Aid on the back of Zal. Although he's more defending from Nagram at the moment. Nagram's got his rearview mirrors full of T-Mac. So that battle's got a long way to go. Further down the field, Dakuza and Lusty are in a battle, the battle of the Beamers. A little bit of damage on the front of Dakuza's car as they come through Puan. So Lusty was, of course, towards the sharper end of the field early on. And Benazili and Shooter, we haven't seen them for a while. They continue to battle for 13th position. Oh, wow, the Lamborghini much quicker through Puan. Nearly pushing the yellow BMW through, and Shooter pretty much let that one go. Benazili up to 13th place, but I want to keep an eye on this battle. This is Aid the Ace. Sorry, Zal, Aid the Ace, Nagram and T-Mac 6, 7, 8 and 9. And actually not too far ahead. You can leave Bo and 2 Desert Pack. There's not a great deal of gap between the Porsche and the Mercs. So that battle is essentially 4th to 9th.
Yeah, it's very true. So this was certainly a very close one. That's going to provide the entertainment, I think, for the next few laps, as the top 3 are now sort of in their own little world up there. And Jardy are just trying to close down Dalton.
Whoa, Zal!
And Zal is trying to get up on Rouge, and he just about managed to do it, but he's lost a lot of speed coming down the straight now. And Aid the Ace, he's not only not in 8th anymore, he's actually in 6th now. He's gained 2 positions in quick succession, as that is Nagram going through the inside of actually defending from T-Mac there. As he was ahead before as well. So that is good defense from him to keep T-Mac at the back of the train. I wonder if ADS now has the pace to pull away from the train, or if this just will keep stacking up with ADS at the front of it. Let's see. Coming through No Name now. It's basically, like Diogo says in the chat, a Hurricane Cup. Certainly this Porsche must feel like it at the moment, just surrounded by Lamborghinis.
Spot the odd one out. Oh dear! It's so easy to do, and when I've driven at Spa, it's happened to me many times flying off the road at Puan. You just get the approach wrong and you fly off the road, and he feels really clumsy as well. Zal, yeah, exactly as you said, that's what seems to be what Zal's strong in the slower corners. Unfortunately, there's not many of them here at Spa, so the setup Zal has would work well for someone like Sakito. But sadly he's not doing him too many favours here, but he is hanging on to the back of Aid the Ace as they come through Stavelot, heading up towards Blanchimont. Wow, he is not letting that, he's pushing the Lamborghini through. He is hanging on as best he can now through the second battle of Blanchimont. There up ahead you can see Bo and Tudez still in their battle for 4th position. That Sal's going to have to look at the inside. Can he slow the car down? That camera's useless. He does. That was a move for Zal, and he's in. Oh, that's in the pits for Zal. That was looking good for a while, but he's brought his car in because there is a mandatory pit stop, as with all of our GT3 races. So it's up to the driver when they serve it. So that's going to put Zal, of course, quite a way down from that particular battle. So T-Mac now elevated 8th, Nagram 7th, 88 6th. There is Suomi, who is up in 9th, but once again, it's T-Mac and Nagram. Now can 88. Oh, T-Mac backs out of that. He didn't fancy trying to move into a Rouge, and I don't blame him either at that pace. Oh, come on, get it under control, which he does. Here we go. We've seen these two side by side quite a number of laps already. Another 1.1 second taken out of the lead. Jardier on Dalking. And here comes T-Mac on the outside of Lacon once again. How's it going to pan out this time? Oh, and Nagram got out of sorts and he's off the road.
Nearly thrown into the wall there.
And that's Suomi is now starting to get in range of Nagram as well. So Suomi's kind of been minding his own business back there. He's been gaining time whilst the others have been fighting ahead of him. I'm looking at the lap times and thinking, good lord, the pace from Jardier once again, absolutely class of one. As we've seen for several seasons now, really, from Jardier. But they still have to pit yet. You can pit up to the penultimate lap, so they don't have to do it they don't have to do it at any particular time. It's not like they're going to be worn down on tyres or any some such. Just people will be getting their pit stops out of the way. But we have seen people disqualify for pitting too late before, although the rule was changed since that happened, admittedly.
Yep. So the lead person having pitted at the moment is Lusty, I believe, in 10th position. There's quite a gap from 9th down to 10th of 25 seconds, so I feel like that's sort of the pit stop gap we can see there. Zal, of course, we saw going to the pits. Benny Seeley might have pitted as well, not sure about Shooter.
Yep, Shooter has.
Yeah, we did see him as well. So yeah, I think everyone from 10th down has been to the pits at least once, of course, which means they don't have to do it again. Everyone in the top 9 will have to pit at some point before the end of this race. But of course, with Zal, just gotta say, with Zal out of this train, we just got Suomi joining you to make it a 4-way train again. But then Nagrom goes into the pit lane to stop that from happening. So let's see then. It'll be interesting to see where Nagrom comes out relative to Zal, because those were the guys who were close together. I assume there's going to be a little bit of fuel being added on the race of an hour and a half as well.
I wouldn't have thought so. They'll have enough fuel in the... I forget what they started with. I think they started with 100 odd litres. As we're over halfway and they're roughly half. They might take a little bit on, just a bit of insurance policy, but they won't be pushing the tank too hard, I would have thought.
Yeah, certainly knows those guys running in the slipstream behind someone. A bit of fuel saving.
Mind you saying that Nagrom did take on fuel. There's no way he has 77 left, so everyone around him has got around. Those that haven't pitted are probably around about 45 or so. 40,
it's quite a long wait for a tank to go an hour and a half. Of course, they can easily do an hour. I'm not doing these cars of this for a long time to know exactly the size of these tanks and how long they go. So anyone in the chat who are wiser than me on that can, of course, let me know. Either way, it doesn't really matter too much if everyone has to add some fuel. Anyway, so Nagrom is out of the pits, and he is behind Zal by a fair margin, 7 seconds. And he's behind Shooter and Benazzili as well.
Yeah, that hasn't gone well. But then I think he was in there probably a bit longer. Maybe he had some damage to contend with. Bose still on the back of 2 Desert Pack. Jardier continues to chase after. And there is Dalking. So, is that Dalking in? Yep, Dalking's come in. So, oh no, he didn't. I beg your pardon. I thought I'd see him go into the pit lane there, but... Dalking continuing on his way. Jardier then, let's see what the lap times are. 18.6 for Dalking, 18.4 for Jardier. Leon does a 18.8, so similar pace, but again Jardier still with the lion's share. And again that Audi defending hard into the bus stop. Either of them pitting, no, AD8 isn't too far behind this particular battle. He's only a couple of seconds back, so he could get involved in this battle before they stop. T-Mac and Suomi aren't that far apart either. But still, that white Mercedes. Oh, that's...
Oh, can you say that off? I thought it was going to go straight around in the 360 there, the way he hit the cross, but he actually managed to control it and get it turned in. If anything, might have helped it turn it.
Well, that's why I wonder what he was doing, because it seemed to snap the Mercedes round. It didn't seem to help him get on the gas any earlier. Oh, that was close. It keeps it on the road. But again, he's maybe a little bit too far back from the Audi this time to challenge. He's not going to gain enough unless he has the biggest dive bomb in the world coming into Lake On. He's going to be... he's far too sensible for that. So, and again, you just see that the way that a lot of these cars are being driven, that's kind of throw them in and then catch the slide. Everyone running a very, very low downforce setup, as you can imagine. Down to Ruxell once again. You see AD Ace in the background. He gained about 6/10 on the pair last time around, so he will be with them unless pit stops shuffles the order, which it probably will. But there is AD Ace. If they finish now, that's a pretty decent performance from AD, I think.
Yeah, certainly. AD Ace been good in the race so far. It would have been his second best performance of the season, finishing in P6. He's got a 4th place from round 2, but apart from that, 7th. It's been his best race finish, so ADA is doing a good job as it stands. Still looking for his first podium though. In the GT3 League, of course, he's a champion in the past on the Xbox side. But back on Portugal's won. But he's not quite reached those heights so far on his PC journey. But of course,
here comes Bo.
Here comes Bo indeed. On the back of the Desert Pack. Gonna wait to challenge until after plunge him on. Potentially on the brakes. The Audi gaining speed. through the fast left-hander, which means Bo might have to be a little bit more patient still.
Wow, the Audi's spinning up his wheels to get through the bus stop as quick as he can. Watching the throttle input from Bo, and he was quite conservative coming through Francorchamps, so he didn't want to gain on the Audi at the wrong time, essentially. So Bo playing the patience game, and there's AD8. You just saw he's gained another 5 tenths indeed. So AD8 is, but also T-Mac gained 4 tenths on him, and Suomi 4 tenths on T-Mac. So that pack could well condense as well. That pack of three Lambos rather. So there's that battle could resume before the pit stops fall. Lusty, our lead pitter, is now 5 seconds ahead of Zal. Benazili is on the back of the Porsche now. Benazili has been rather minding his own business. He's been kind of making his way through the field since I think he was caught up in the early scuffles of the race. So now challenging Zal. He was getting a 2:19.8, so quite a bit quicker than the cars around him. So there's a fair amount of pace in his car. He just rather found himself a bit out of position, I think.
Yep. Benazili, we know he has got pace. He's sitting 6th place in the championship. He's finished every race so far in the top 10. He's never quite matched his heights of round 1 where he finished on the podium, but he's going to get back into the top 10 with his move on Zal coming into Le Combe. Just getting the slipstream after Eau Rouge, and a nice and straightforward move for him, unless the Porsche can come back in those slow corners where we know it can be good. But Benazili is in the way. And that is a job done for him. Zal, of course, is still going in the race, which is quite a big story because he's done 5 races this season as Zal, and he's finished none of them.
Oh no!
He's at least still in the race after the halfway point, which is good for him.
Bo has finally overhauled that Audi. Bo has actually, and not only gotten ahead of him, he's breaking free. He's already 6 to 7 tenths ahead. I wonder if there's been a mistake from Tudors, because that's what's happened to Bo. Oh, he lagged. Bo is lagging around. Oh no!
It's a lag parking going on there. It's just lagged it into a parking spot on the grass.
Oh, Bo. That's trouble for Bo. What a shame from such a strong position as well. And AD8 has gone ahead of Tudors as well. So whilst that was going on, the Audi's lost the position to the 4, and yet Bo's gone. Oh, what a shame for Bo. He's looking at such a strong position for him. As I thought earlier, this pack has really condensed down, and there's an Audi right in the middle of it. Suomi now at the back of this particular train. That's T-Mac ahead of us, and Suomi's... Oh, I thought it was Suomi backing off. It was T-Mac rather.
Tupac.
I'm muddling up several people's names. So T-Mac having to back off there. Allows Suomi through into 6th position. Can the Audi hang on to the back of the Lambo ahead? We will see. But T-Mac not wasting any time and hanging on to the back of the white and pink Lambo. And Bo's in the chat. Oh no, unbelievable. What a great shame for you, sir. And we've started to see 2:17s on the board now by who else but the Lemon Lambo of Jardier. That is now 4 seconds the gap from himself to the lead. So he's really pressing on with...
Yeah, Jardier was really gaining at a rapid pace, especially in those early laps after he got ahead of Leon. It's the sort of pace advantage slowed down slightly recently, but last lap he was 8 tenths quicker, so 4 seconds between them. Wouldn't think it's too long. Oh, it's just dropped to 2.5.
They're in the bus stop.
The gap is a bit temperamental through the bus stop there. Seems closer than they are when they go in a slow speed, of course. Look at that drift! Another sick drift from Suomi this time. Coming out of the back straight, and they're doing a good job of keeping control of these cars. You can see that these drivers they know what they're doing. Of course, you wouldn't really want to get into those drifts in the first place, but at least once they get into them, they are able to control it usually very, very well. And we rarely see these guys spin out from that kind of slide. As Tudors back now coming into the pits, slowing it down for the cones, and embarking on that eternal pit limiter journey to get his car filled up a little bit. I did get confirmation, I think it was Andrex in the chat who said, or Stefan as well actually, I was saying that so you do need to add a little bit of fuel. The tank isn't quite big enough to go an hour and a half. 100 liters will give you about an hour according to Andrex, and most of the tanks are about 130, so you need about 20 to 30 liters. Of course, that could be a little bit depending on the car as well. Some cars are a little bit more economical on fuel compared to others, so maybe that's one of the reasons why Zal gained so much time in Nagram through the pits. But actually Nagram is now ahead of Zal again in 11th and 12th, which is interesting as Shooter was briefly in the top 10 again, but I think he's going to lose that. No, it looks like he got the really bad exit. He's actually hanging on in there, and Nagram's going to have to make the move done, or make it work on the brakes, which he does, up to 10th position. So Zal has dropped several seconds for mysterious reasons, and is now, just far off where he was before.
Unfortunately so. Keeping on with the battle of the Lambos. Now our top 6 cars are all of the Lamborghini mark. T-Mac continuing to chase Suomi. Aid has fallen. I was just thinking Aid was up there a minute ago.
He's definitely fallen.
He's fallen a hell of a long way. He's lost massive amount of time, and that's not a happy looking Lambo at the moment. He's 20 seconds behind T-Mac now. What a great shame having to fall all the way up to 4th, and now finds himself down in 6th by a long way. T-Mac is still on the back of Suomi. Leon a long way ahead of this particular pair, but another 3/10 gone from the lead, and that is now under 4 seconds for Jardier to chase after Dal King, you just saw going through Eau Rouge and Radion. And Jardier is still keeping his foot in it. He's not letting off the pace. He's chasing, but that lead ever so slightly decreasing. And
look at that! Dal King's catching traffic as well.
That's Villalobos and Scots, the mighty roaring cars.
Go to Dal King again. It looked like it was slowing very weirdly into Le Combe there. I think it just dropped a second or so into Le Combe, and that's the car off the track. That's
Villalobos, our Sol Z5. Literally, just looked at him. It seems to be commentator cursing by looking at people at the moment, but again, an 88 is in, so I wonder whether he sustained damage as a result of that incident he had up at No Name. So a great shame for 88 for what was looking like one of his strongest performances of the season has just unravelled in the blink of an eye. T-Mac continuing to chase, but Dal King still has that looming lemon Lambo behind him. And ahead, there is Scott in the Bentley. So it hasn't gone well for him. So he was involved in that huge incident early on with, I've actually forgotten who it was that was ended up reversing onto track after No Name.
CJB.
Oh, CJB, yes.
Yep.
I rather think that one may be Stewards bound, but we will see. And ADA's come down in 12th. What a shame.
Well, he's lost a lot of time there, but at least he's done his pit up now. So he can try and...
T-Mac's got his windscreen wipers going.
Last 14 laps.
Yeah. Why has T-Mac got his windscreen wipers going? Oh, Jardier is right on Dal King's case now. There he is.
Second and a half.
So the battle for the lead has been looming. Dal King lost a lot of time, 2.3 seconds to Jardier last time around. Could have been caught out a bit by backmarkers, but once again Jardier continues to pile in the amazing laps. Where is Villalobos? He's continuing with that absolutely wrecked Z4. He is actually not bringing it into the pits. That's interesting.
Fair enough, fair play. Staying in there, of course. Points for everyone who finishes at the moment, with the 17 cars remaining in the race. And Venezuela now up to 8th position with Eddie Ace's misfortune.
Oh, Tudor's lost 8 seconds that lap, so he's had trouble. I wonder what's happened to Tudor. Is there any damage on his Audi? Doesn't look like it. The car looks fairly clean, so he's just made a mistake somewhere. That's put Benazili on his case. But yeah, Jardier is getting into position to attack Dalking. There's Scott in the Bentley, who recently got himself a penalty. Let's have a look at the penalty count. Bindsley with 1, Zal with 2, the Ace with 2, JK with 1, Scott and Villalobos with 1.
Well, we'll see how that plays out, if that has any bearing on the final results. The top 7 though, running at the moment, no penalties for them. Benicili might make it to penalty in the top 7, because he has one and he's challenging to that's back now, coming towards the Rouge, and you'd expect him to get a good run. Coming out of here with the slipstream that he will be getting. Lamborghini looking nice and planted this time off the track though. That could potentially be a slowdown unless the game feels he was slow enough while he was off track there. He's not slowing down too dramatically, but it's prevented him from making a move. He's closing a little bit towards the end of the straight, but braking relatively early, so that's going to be have to wait a little bit. Dalking off the track actually, coming out of the Blanchimont as well, and going past Scott in that Bentley. We know that Jardier is there as well. He will indeed, so he's letting both of them through at the same time. That's worked out perfectly for Jardier especially, and he's now within a second. He's only 6/10 behind is the championship leader on the Dalking, who must be desperate to keep Jardier behind here. He's not going to win. He's been in positions this season to win races, but it's never worked out quite like that for him, as he's sliding a bit out of the corner this time as well. Jardier though, with the pace he's shown since he got clear air, since he broke away from the rest of the field, has just been absolutely sublime. So it's really going to be an uphill battle for Dalking to defend his position for the last 12 laps of this race. But I'm sure he will try his best to keep the Lambo as bay.
No, Tudez now gets his name on the penalty board. As his has just popped up. What's he given himself? Oh, 1 second for the Audi. But yeah, Jardier then piling the pressure onto Dalking. Now it's going to be interesting to see what Shooter now does the same thing. Now it's going to be interesting to see what Jardier does. Is he going to challenge for the lead? Is he going to pile the pressure on? He's been driving absolutely flat out to gain to Dalking, so it's difficult to think that he wouldn't just pressure to pass him. But he might just kind of sit there and exactly as we saw early on in the race, he may just kind of pressure for the mistake as opposed to actually just throwing the car on the inside of somewhere. But you never know with Jardier. He's having a look on the inside coming into campus. Oh, look at that. That is so very close. That is the view from Jardier's car. Not even 2/10 between the pair of them coming through Stavelot. Now through Paul Frey. Oh, wide for Dalking. Is that going to give him a slowdown warning? They're going to be side by side coming through Blanchimont. Oh, look at that. Dalking's around the inside initially. Will Jardier back out of that? He sort of brakes a little bit earlier. He rather had to. Now, how are they going to navigate the bus stop? Dalking stays very hard to the inside line. And Jardier goes to the outside, moving to the bus stop. Oh, Dalking's hanging on in there though. Jardier does nose into the lead. And that is the lead, but briefly for Jardier. But Dalking's had a great drive on the exit of the bus stop. He's going to have the inside for La Source. Is the white and pink Lamborghini going to regain the lead? Still side by side. Good drive then for the lemon Lamborghini. Dalking did nose ever so slightly into the lead. Still side by side. Who is going to blink first? Coming into...
Oh, no, I have a bad feeling about this.
Oh, well played for both of them. Oh, well done. Dalking hanging on in there, having the faith that Jardier wouldn't pile into the side of him. Surely, though, this is going to be an easy drafting move for Jardier. Dalking staying hard over to the inside line. He's roughly positioning in the middle. That's forcing Jardier to the outside for the initial part of Lecombe. Dalking hanging on. He's going to have the outside for the next apex. He's had a fairly decent drive through it. Can he hang on to the... He does. He's hanging on to the lead. Still side by side.
Goodness. Absolutely unbelievable racing between these two drivers. You could just see Dalking was trying everything he possibly could to stay ahead of Jadier, just desperately trying to hang on for his first win in the league. But he didn't back out of the move into a rouge, which many others might have. Hang on in there, and in the end, Jadier was not even able to pull up the move that he managed to do on Leon earlier in the race. Is that?
No, that's not Leon.
Okay, it was a car like Leon.
It was. I'm not sure who that was. Typack?
Yeah, it would have been Typack.
Yeah, a shame. Facing the wrong way at campus.
And give him a battle with Scott, though, at least, was coming up behind him in the Bentley. But yeah, Dalking, unfortunately, having to settle down in second place after that fantastic sequence of attempts by Jadier, which finally worked out for him down at Brussels. And yeah, he certainly had to work hard for it. And unfortunately, it looks like Dalking going to have to wait even longer to get a win this season. He's been in positions to get them earlier on. It's never worked out, and he's got 2 more rounds now after this to try and make it happen. Let's see, of course, there's still 10 laps to go. You never know, Jadier might fall off the track somewhere, even though we wouldn't expect it from him. And Dalking could suddenly turn up his pace once again, but at the moment, it's looking good for the championship leader.
That is absolutely true. Both of them have the ability to get into the 218s. We've seen 217s from Jadier. I haven't spotted 217s from anybody else. So once again, just how does he do it? How does Jadier just continue with these blistering Adian-like lap times every single time? There you see that's not technically a 3-way battle. That's actually a 2-way battle between Scott and Typek. We saw the bright green Lamborghini facing the wrong way. The roaring Bentley's going to have the inside for the first part of Le Mans. We can ride on board with Leon, who's watching quite nicely.
This is not going to be helping for Leon, who is actually trying to lap these guys.
Oh, Leon, that was very opportunistic. He's actually gotten ahead of the pair of them. Very nicely done. Yeah, that was a bit brave on the outside of Le Mans, I must say. But Dalking hanging on in there. He's less than a second from the tail of Jadier, but I think that's going to be a very challenging, very challenging gap for him to try and maintain.
Indeed. And well, it was already an uphill battle, as I mentioned, for looking to defend the position from Jadier.
Yeah.
But it's going to be even more of an uphill battle now to try and cling on and potentially repass, as this is a close battle now. Benicili having closed up to Hesseback, who's been in winning for a while, hasn't he? He's still not been able to pass. And look how close he is going up our rouge. This time it's a little bit closer than last time we were riding on board with him. Coming now towards Le Mans, and this time to Hesseback, going to the defensive line. Benicili, will he try and pull off the move that Jadier did by starting off with the outside braking into Le Mans? Here we go, around the outside. He's further ahead than what Jadier was, but Tudesbach still managing to hang on in there. Great pace through the second apex. This is almost a deja vu, but actually Tudesbach just squeezes him a little bit onto the curb to stay ahead, whereas Dalking in that position did not do that. And it's worked out for the Audi. Still staying in second place, because both of these guys with a 1 second time penalties, it's not going to matter in this particular battle. It's evened out. So this is very much a battle for position between second and third, I guess, out of those that have pitted, as another one who has pitted that is out. Still struggling in that Porsche. It was running very well in the early part of the race, but since then it's gone downhill, down to 13th now, as Dakusa takes advantage of that little off-track excursion.
Sadly so. Oh, Dalking's hanging on in there. He's closed that gap back down again to Jadier, but oh wow, this is very. I just marvel at how sideways they get every single lap. And that, I believe, is JK they're catching up to. Yep, that is indeed 14th place. JK in the Audi that they are closing in on. Actually, Dalking did close a 10th on Jadier last time around. It's keeping him in contention, so you never know what could happen in the final 8 laps of the race. Zaulis is giving himself another penalty for track limits. Wow, again, seeing the tail of that Lemon Lambo getting very lively. Coming through Pouan. And flash of the lights from one Lamborghini. Yep, JK realises there's another one. There's and that's the thing, you can see one coming. You're minding your own business, trying to hit your own marks. You prepare to let one go, not realising there's another one in very, very short succession, but JK was on the ball there. And the lead 2 go through unhindered.
They do indeed. No drama this time with the left traffic. Dalking is just trying to cling on to the back of Jardier. He's actually a tenth of a second quicker last time around, so he's doing a good job, you have to say, considering the pace that Jardier has shown this race, but it's really going to be tough for him to get back into a position where he can challenge him again for the lead of the race, as once again you can see his tail slapping out. He's actually done. Oh yeah, that's one way he could potentially do it. He's gone for the undercut on the pit stops.
That was a slightly unusual line into the pit stop, but he only had he had 2 litres on board, so he had to do it then. And Jardier will make it to the line without worrying about fuel. I just suddenly realised why my computer is boiling itself.
Oh.
The fans have stopped. So I can remedy that, otherwise I might just drop. That should do it.
Well, you do that. We're just going to watch Jardier just driving along on his merry way. It's going to be a question for him now if he does respond straight away to Dalking's pit stop. And of course, they're both running in Lamborghinis. It's not going to be any difference in terms of how much fuel they're going to have to add to get to the end of this race. But of course, the pit entry and pit exit is something that they're not doing too often. So that could play a part. As
someone was parked against the.
I have no clue who that was, actually.
Yeah, there was somebody. I don't know if my eyes deceived me there, but it looked like there was someone kind of sat against the wall, the pit wall there. Dalking comes out in third, not too far ahead of Suomi, but Suomi hasn't pitted yet. There is oh dear, that's an ugly looking. Oh, that's Tapek again. Yeah,
having some fun on the straight.
Yeah, so that's gone horribly wrong for him. He could have been Tapek that I saw just parked up next to the wall. So that's not gone well for him. But where is Jardier? There he is. Yeah, Stavolo he's coming into now. Oh, steady. It's all going to be Leon's going to be coming in as well. So it is going to be close, I think, between Dalking and Jardier. Well, obviously it was pre-pit stop, but it all comes down to whether there's any damage on Jardier's car. And looking at his pace, there isn't any sign of it. But also, if Dalking has a pretty decent outlap and is not looking too bad so far, it's going to be close, I think.
Yep. Let's see how it's going to be.
There's going to be a litre left in the tank when he gets there.
Oh, so he's done one lap here on very, very little fuel, which can only help his pace, of course. And it's all about the pit entry and the pit exit, and nailing the whole pit stop, stopping on your marks, not making a mistake, not missing your box. That's another unusual, interesting line from Leon as well. But anyway, Jardier. Let's see how long he will be stationary for, as his pit crew is just relaxing, not doing anything particularly interesting, as Leon comes flying through him. Yeah. That's not going to bother him at all. So Dalking now, where is he? Coming through the bus stop, as Jardier's already started moving. I think Jardier has still got a little bit of time to go. Going to be close. He's at turn 1, as Dalking is coming into the braking zone. I think Jardier's got this covered, but Dalking could potentially have a better run. Nah, Jardier is too far ahead, I think.
Yeah, that's gone to
cover him off.
Yeah, definitely gone to the Lemon Lambo's favour this time. T-Mac's coming as well. Lusty, he's already been. I think that's the last of it. And Typex finally made it back to the pits and kills T-Mac on his way in. Oh, and runs over him for good measure.
They seem to have the same
pit box. Look at that effect. It's like a neon, like those old neon lights you used to get on the roof instead of underneath it. Or was on my screen. I'm not sure how that looked for you. So it's 2.5 seconds there or thereabouts between Jardier and Dalking now. Bearing in mind that was well and truly less than the second pre-pit stop. So that has gone to Jardier, or the advantage has gone back to Jardier, I should say. Leon comes back out in third. He is 9 seconds behind Dalking, roughly where he was before the pit stops. Lusty's just got ahead of T-Mac post pit stop, so there's a battle there for fourth between the BMW and the Lamborghini. Benazili and Suomi, and 2 Desert Pack indeed in a battle. Suomi's just come out of the pits, so there's battles now forming in the closing stages of the race.
It is indeed. Three-way fight here, potentially. Benazili, Suomi and Tudesapak. And of course, Lusty with T-Mac up for 4th place, which you have to say, Lusty is having an absolute stonker of a fantastic race for him. So far, he's only in 22nd place in the championship. He's never finished above 13th place this season. And he's running in 4th here at Spa. So Lusty can be very pleased. Even if he drops through all of these guys, down to 8th, he still will have by far his best result of the season. Hopefully nothing bad happens for him. As Suomi is now challenging Benazili. We've seen Benazili made some moves recently in the race, but now he's the one under pressure from Suomi, who is a former race winner, of course. And that Suomi's only race winner in this league did come, if my memory serves me correctly, here at Spa back in season 8, I think. He makes that move because of Benazili getting very squirmy through Huon. Luckily, Suomi was able to go around the blue Lamborghini rather than through the blue Lamborghini. But Benazili might be looking to try and get that place back.
We would have commentated on that, you and I, season 8. That was the first Pcars 2 season, was it not?
It was indeed, yeah. Season 8, the only 6th race season, I believe, first one of Pcars 2.
Yes, the evaluatory season we had. So Benazili not looking to stay content with that small mistake he's made through Puon. He wants that position back, but Suomi is not going to be an easy target whatsoever. As they come into the bus stop, it's too far. Oh, that's not a good run for Suomi, though.
It's so awkward. It's so awkward for Benazili in that situation because he just doesn't know where Suomi is going to get back onto the track. He's so give so much space on the inside into the second part of the bus stop just because he didn't know where Suomi was going to be. That means Suomi was able to stay ahead, but now he's running wide again, and that will give Benazili a run coming towards Rouge.
Oh, we're going to see another side-by-side. No, Benazili tucks in behind Suomi. Then you can just see further up ahead, T-Mac and Lusty having their battle. Surely then, oh, that's not a good run for Tudes. That's getting very squirrely, but he's kept his foot in it. He's actually gotten into the slipstream of the blue Lamborghini. So we're going to see now, is Benazili going to get into the slipstream? He does. He has a look on the inside of Lacombe, doesn't go for that particular move. Fair enough. Lusty has remained ahead of T-Mac as well, further up the road. So this battle is going to potentially, and actually Lusty is giving himself a bit of a gap. That's nearly a second between the two now. The gap up front has extended to over 3 seconds, and it would seem that Jardier is just going to start to stretch his legs up front. Oh, look at that. Now Tudes is on the back of Benazili. So Suomi's had a good run through Lacombe. Again, the tail of that blue and black Lambo just kicking out as they come down through Puon. That's Nagrin behind them, 2.5 seconds back. He's not going to get involved unless there's impact between these cars as we start to head towards the final 5 laps. Tudes again just making himself very known in Benazili's mirrors. No move coming at the moment there from the Audi. Looking at T-Mac on Lusty. He's still in striking range of the M6. So that battle has yet to be resolved either. But at the moment we'll keep an eye, well, I'm trying to keep an eye on both these battles, but everyone else is fairly well spread out now.
Yes, indeed. And just to correct a little fact that I spouted earlier about Suomi's first and only win in this league, that was actually all the way back in season 6, which is a long time ago. And,
wow, that was a long time ago.
The cast game as well, yeah. So it was even longer ago than I thought it was.
Well, that wasn't in a Lambo then.
Spa. It was not in a Lambo. I believe it was in a Corvette of all things.
Oh, nice. You have far better memory than I do. And again, I think I would have been alongside you on that one as well. I'm trying to remember. Oh no, would have been you and Yorkie. I think it was Pcars 2 when I joined you in Tier 1, because I was Tier 2 back then. Yes, I was definitely Tier 2 for Season 6, as that was my second GT3 season after joining AOR. So yeah, I was definitely in Tier 2 at that particular... Oh, Lusty!
Oh, that's very well.
Wow. He kept his foot in it as well. That's impressive. T-Mac, I think, is going to be a little bit too far back. Then now you can see behind Suomi and Benazili. Tudes a little bit more spread out, but that was Oh, well held there by Lustia. That could have been rather nasty. He could have been trading paint with the wall. But managed to keep going. Wouldn't be surprised if there might be a penalty incurred as a result. He was quite a way off track. That three-way battle seems to have spread out. And Jardier, of course, doing his usual thing of just running off into the distance. Now 4 seconds between himself and Dalking with 5 laps remaining. So he just needs to kind of see that one to the line now. But at the moment, it would seem that 3-car train, you can just see them in the background. T-Mac! Well held! What a stunning save from T-Mac through Puon. That's cost him a fair amount of time on Lusty. Suomi's going to start getting interested in that one. What a save! That was absolutely stunning.
Yeah, fantastic car control from T-Mac. He got completely out of control coming into Puon. And now he's slightly in a no-man land situation. Just a second or two behind Lusty, second or two of Suomi. And Benasile as well, a couple of seconds behind in 7th place to Deserpac, a second or so behind Benasile. So we're waiting for these guys to sort of condense and start a little bit of a battle here in the last 4 or so laps. Jardier getting through a bit of traffic. That would have been...
That was JK, I think.
Josie. Yep.
It was indeed. Oh, was that Leon? No, that would be Typek. That was... Yeah, he seems to be struggling again.
Yeah, Typek now down to last place, 17th, 4 minutes and 20 seconds down on the Jardier. Villalobos had been running quite a bit by himself down in 17th, but Typek has now had even more issues than Villalobos in this race. But 5th place of them for carrying on for 5 and 4 points respectively if they finish in the 16th and 17th place. T-Mac now in P5. You can just see this sort of kind of a train. It's just that unfortunately for us they're a little bit too far spread out to actually get into close combat for the time being. Let's hope that will change in the last 4.5 or 3.5 laps in this race. Lap 36 out of 39 we're on at the moment. It's been a long race, but Jardier now in the last 10 or so laps since he managed to get past Dalking in astonishing fashion. He has gradually pulled away and is running comfortably in the place where he is most comfortable and where he usually is seen, Jardier, in P1, even though he hasn't actually won since 3 weeks ago. The last race I commented on 3 weeks ago was also the last one he won. He's only won one race in the last 5, which is kind of unusual, I think, from Jardier, with Leon and Van Omen taking a few wins.
Benazili's lost positions. He's now in 7th.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Suomi now up into 5th, so he's overhauled T-Mac. Oh no, sorry, it was T-Mac that's lost the position. I thought it was Benazili who was on the back of Lusty. It wasn't. It was T-Mac. So Suomi's actually overtaken T-Mac. So I think the black Lambo has had a problem somewhere. And that puts them in short order. Let's see if T-Mac is able to hang on to the back of Suomi as Chardier. Oh, that's not a useful camera. Where's he? Oh, he's very much up there, just enjoying the scenery around Bruxelles. Wasn't it around there that you watched Spa one year, Mr. Fizz?
Yes, I was qualifying. I was chilling out at the top of the hill to the right, looking to the right, going into Puon. And then for the race, I was chilling out on the Camel Straight, as you do.
As you do, yeah.
The last year, I was quite an experienced. But fantastic track for spectator, you have to say. By far the best track I've been at. Even better than Silverstone in terms of general admission, because there's so many good places to watch. This is quite, it's quite hilly, so you can get a good view next to the track and many of the free sort of places to walk, as you can see on the right here as well. It was packed down the Camel Straight on the left hand side. They would have enjoyed this battle, and we're coming up potentially with Nagram trying to break down the inside of Deserpac, but Deserpac late enough on the brakes to keep him at bay for the time being. That's a battle for 8th position with 3 laps to go. Desbach, of course, has that one-second penalty, so it might not actually matter too much in the end, but...
Oh, Suomi's on Lustig. Oh, Lustig's had a terrible run indeed through the no-name corner. That's allowed the Lamborghini to fly up alongside. Oh, he's going to go for an outside move around Puon. Wow, you've got some stones. That's a great move, but of course that's compromised Lustig as well because he doesn't want to slam into the side of the Lambo. The BMW's backed off. Suomi's gone through up into fourth before he gets the campus. What a move. Very nicely done, but that's brought T-Mac and Benazili back into that particular battle as well. So in the closing stage of the race, this battle has completely reignited. Of course, we were looking at T Desert-Pak and Nagarum as well, so that battle for 8th continues. Where are you going, T-Mac? A little bit too wide coming through Paul Frey. Can the BMW do anything against Lamborghini ahead? It's going to be a little bit too far back, I'd have thought. Gaining a little bit. Oh, Two Deserts lost that position to Nagarum. He's had a bad run through Stavler and Paul Frey, so that's 8th then to the black Lamborghini. Oh, that camera gets me out every time. That 4-car train continues as we have 2 laps to go.
Indeed, and Suomi was a man on the move in this train. Just look at the lap times running in the 2:19s, but the other man on the move is Benazili in 7th position, and that's the man we're on board with at the moment. So on pace, you'd expect him to be challenging the 2 cars ahead of him, but those 2 car guys might get into a battle between themselves before that's going to happen, because they're very close now, running a line of staying up through Eau Rouge. Lamborghini behind the BMW. Lustig very much under pressure to make his best finish of the season as good as he could possibly be, hanging on to a top 5 at the moment and getting a better run actually up through Rouge. Nice. Again a slowdown for T-Mac. I think that's the 3rd time in this race that we've seen T-Mac slow down going down the Camel straight as Lustig is completely sideways through the com and
held it.
It's actually kept ahead of Benazili. Oh, that was so sideways that I was sure that Benazili was going to get the position, but maybe he was lucky and actually was in the racing line, so Benazili, rather than go around him, actually had to slow down a bit.
Yeah, T-Mac must be so frustrated with himself to keep losing time to the dreaded slowdown warning. Because, like you say, that's several times we've seen at that very same point coming onto the Camel Straight. That seems to be his weak point. Another fastest lap from the man out front. Another 17.9. by Jardier, so he's not slowing down, and he has started lap 39, the final lap. That's how much longer Lustig has got to hold on to Benazili. That's Suomi's just gone. He's not hanging around. He's already opened up about 1.3 seconds from the BMW. Benazili has got a fair amount of work to do to get past the BMW, and then you've got T-Mac behind that hasn't lost the drive to try and get up the field either, so there is still racing to be had.
Indeed, it's going to be 1 remaining lap after this one, I believe.
Where is
oh, look at that again. And T-Mac getting close as well, coming to the bus stop. Lustig is hanging on in there, and that was close to a collision. Benazili just storming down the inside line into the bus stop as Lustig turned in from very, very wide, and now 2 lines that very nearly didn't work well together. Just about managed to avoid it. Luckily for those 2 guys, because T-Mac would have been right on the seat to either get collected or to take advantage. They'll live to fight another day, and Benazili's going to have to try again up through Rouge.
Checking where Jardier is. He's coming through Stavelo. No, he's not. He's coming through Caddis, so he's got half a lap to go.
There we go then. Benazili on the BMW off Lustig, trying to demote him to out of the top 5 as they're coming towards a backmarker as well.
That's Villalobos and that knackered.
Sit on the inside, trying to defend. This braked not quite late enough, it looks like, because Benazili is on the outside and Lustig is trying to hang on in there. T-Mac just waiting for an opportunity to get his car through, and he's trying to go for it now. It looks like it could be a 3 wide coming into Brussels. This is unbelievable. How are they going to make this work? And there's a little bit of a push from the inside from T-Mac. They all managed to get around the corner, but Benazili on the outside getting both of them, and that looks like it's a move done if they can just nail No Name, and he has done. What a fantastic little sprint that was, but he's up into 5th place, but with a 1 second penalty, so he needs to pull a gap in the final half of this lap if he wants to keep that position. Lusty might still finish in 5th place, and T-Mac might even do the same. Yeah. This is not over, and the race is actually completed with Jardier having crossed the line. Oh, and Lucy's lost it! Looks like he's lost the rear. Maybe he locked his rear brakes there coming to campus, and that is a very unfortunate way for him to drop out of the top 5 as it might have been. Lucy, it was nearly for him.
I know that the leader's long since crossed the line and killed his car. So Jardier is going to be your race 1, Dalking 2, Leon 3, thanks cameraman. Suomi is going to take 4th position. He's absolutely nowhere near anybody at the moment. God, Benazili has got to clear T-Mac by that, assuming it's still 1 second for Benazili. It's 3 seconds! Oh, so yeah, that is going to give T-Mac that 6th position. Here comes Suomi to take 4th. He's quite happy with that, and fair play to you. Benazili crosses the line in 5th. There is Typack on your right there. Jardier facing the wrong way. So
some carbon fibre in the camera.
Yeah, so T-Mac then is indeed elevated up into 6th. Lusty was outside of that. He remains in 7th, so he didn't gain from that. Nagram 8. 2 days is going to cross the line, and now there's just carnage everywhere on the start finish.
No one's bothered braking into turn 1 after the end of the race.
That's an interesting position. Green Lambo on top of Villalobos there.
Well, the Shooter, by the way, his first top 10 finish of the season. Same with Lusty as well, in 7th place.
There's Takuza in 11th. Aid the Ace. Oh, what might have been for Aid the Ace. He comes across the line in 12th. He will not be pleased with that at all. There is Zal. He's the last man on the... that's an unusual line coming through. Coming through Blanchemont. Okay, you're going everywhere now. Maybe he's already finished and he's just actually carried on.
I think he's just dropped his wheel and just barely able to turn.
Maybe he's steering with his feet.
He's going for the pit lane.
Whee! That's a
Oh my goodness, it's worked out well. Look at that.
I dread to think the suspension damage you picked up from doing that.
I feel like he might have picked up some kind of penalty for that. But either way, it was quite entertaining, I have to say. So, in the end, Jardier is back on top after 2 races off the top step. Winning here around 8 at Spa. Dalking having to settle for 2nd place, even though he was leading for a long time. Leon the 6th one in 3rd, which means Jardier now leading the championship by... more than 50 points, which basically means going into the penultimate round next week, he just needs to finish ahead of Leon to win that championship. Suomi is going to get a solid 4th place. T-Mac getting the final top 5 spot. Benazili jumping to 6th with his penalty. Lusty, with by far his best result of the season, up in 7th. Then ahead of Nagrom, picking up some solid points as well. To Desapak and Shooter, rounding out the top 10.